We're sitting here today with Kristian Blummenfelt and Gustav Iden. Thanks for joining us, guys. And they've promised to give us a little look behind the curtain of the Norwegian training method. We're going to ask them some difficult questions on what exactly it is they do to get the results that they get.
Kristian's sweating already.
Yeah.
I can see him.
And it's not because of the heat here.
No, it's just the hard questions here.
We're going to give them a grilling.
Here we go.
Okay, well, starting, obviously the Norwegian method's been pretty successful, we've seen. You guys have, you've set the triathlon world alight recently. How extreme is this? How extremely different is it, or is it just tweaking a few little things?
I think actually what people see is just the top of the iceberg. Yeah. So we do more testing like of data that we don't really publish yet or show off. So
gotta keep your secrets.
We are sharing something, but not everything.
So basically what you're saying is there's a whole world of science and experiments and stuff that you guys have done to get to where you are that you're not showing us. What we see on the Queen K, where you prick your ear and take a lactate test, is just the very tip of a...
And how many years have you been doing this?
Yeah, so the lactate is it's easy to do, but it's really hard to understand. And some people, or more and more people, started using the lactate meters, but I don't think they fully understand the use of it. And I think the way they use it might hinder their performance, especially for the athletes that's been like in the world class for many years and start using lactate now. I think they might not be favorable for them.
Because that's, from the outside looking in, you guys look so familiar with the process of doing it and just integrating it into your training. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like that. So you've clearly been doing it for years, right?
Yeah, so I checked and I think I did my first lactate profile when I was 13 years old.
Really?
When with my running club. But we didn't understand what we were doing, we just did it. But the full extent came maybe in 2016, then I really started using it in a different way.
And how regularly are you per week?
Oh, it depends. When me and Kristian are on our own, without a coach, we do it sometimes to do more check. But if we have Olav there, we can use 6 tests per session, and 2 sessions a day, and 7 days a week. So,
and will you genuinely look at the numbers there in that moment and adapt the session as you go?
Sometimes, yeah. So it depends on what kind of session we do. Sometimes we do race pace, and then we go for power or pace. But if we want the metabolic response, we change the pace accordingly. Yeah.
So this is what's so different about the way you guys are using lactate. I mean, I did my first lactate test 20-something years ago, and it was a lactate test. It was basically an incremental test. You took your lactate regularly throughout it and kind of looked where those peaks were. But you guys are using this in a very different way. You guys are using it daily, every session, to see your general levels. You've got a much better understanding than what I would ever have got from a regular lactate test, where I was just seeing where my threshold maybe was.
It's not just like every session every day, but because we do some period without. But I think it's both for the hard sessions, also for the easy sessions, to understand more if we are burning carbs, for example, on the easy sessions, which is something you would like to avoid, and also for maximizing that you are spot on like a threshold if you're first doing a threshold work.
So it's a much deeper understanding of what lactic acid is going through your body, what's flowing through your bloodstream all the time than what maybe we used to look at. Yeah,
but also to be able to get ready for a race, like you might want to have a different lactate response for an Ironman than you want to have for a sprint distance. So also like for sprint testing, you do want to be able to produce lactate. So then we do other sessions which will target that, so we can get ready for.
I mean, actually, just sat here now. I mean, I think this is fairly clear. You guys understand all of this, like again.
We understand it on a pretty good level, but luckily we have a coach that understands it on a much deeper level.
But there are some athletes out there that just follow the training plan, do what the coach says, but you guys clearly understand what it is and the reason behind all this testing.
Yeah.
And so you've got quite a deep knowledge, so when these numbers are churned out, you know what to do. And
yeah, and also if you have an understanding, it's much easier for the athlete to take smart choices during the training. So before a training, we usually have a pretty good understanding of the reasoning behind it. So either it's like efficiency on a certain swim speed or build your capacity or whatever. So if you have a good understanding of what the attention or what the session is about, you can take a good choice. Like you can either slow down a bit and do an extra 10 minutes, or you can go harder towards the end to build like a different response. So if you don't have a understanding of what you're doing, it's really hard to make a good decision during the training session.
And also I think it helps to motivate yourself. You know, if you understand why you're doing it, then it's also easier to do that.
Push yourself through it.
Yeah. Extra.
If you want to push it. Sometimes you have to understand that it's not the right to push through. So,
but then it's easier to hold back.
Yeah, then it's easier to hold back. And I know many athletes that struggle to get out of the pool or stop a training session because they think it's you have failed a session. And I do that myself also. You always want to finish something you started, but sometimes the right decision is to drop out and not finish.
I think I was too far that way.
Yeah. Mark just dropped out of all his sessions.
But if you have a good reason to do it, then you can do it. Not just because you're tired, because being an athlete, you have to be tired sometimes. And a lot of athletes are afraid to be tired and afraid to really dig deep. Not only in one session, because do one session hard, I mean, everyone can do that. Not everyone, but like doing an Ironman, it's an extreme thing to do. But most Ironman athletes, they don't train as much as we do, but they still manage to finish an Ironman. But to do the session, like dig deep day after day after day, I think that's the biggest challenge.
I think that's where we need to go. We need to take a step back now, because it's quite easy for people to look at this Norwegian method and go, well, we can't do that because we don't have someone to do lactate testing all the time, and I don't even understand that. It's too science and everything. But that's not what actually makes you great. Obviously, doing the right thing at the right time is what's making you. But let's take it a step back. How many hours are we talking a week? How you guys are working hard and using science. It's not just using science. Let's be clear. So how hard are we working? How many hours are we talking a week in a day?
I think we're being on around 1,200, 1,300 hours a year since we're juniors.
Basically.
I think that's also the unique thing that we started so early with the high volumes, and also the body is very adapted to doing a high volume, and also the sessions that we can, for example, prepare for going into a race like this can be very similar to like a full Ironman. So it's not like we suddenly do the whole weekly mileage on race day. You know, it's something we can do for a couple of weekends in a row because the body is used to the volume.
It's just slightly higher intensity on race day, but it's a volume that you're used to. So, sorry, my maths is not that good. 1,213 hours a year turns into 27, 28 hours a week. Yeah,
it's not insane.
It's not,
but it's including all travel days and race weeks and season breaks, even though our season breaks. Yeah, so it's a total volume.
Yeah,
so,
I mean today, before the guys came and sat down, they've done 7 hours of training today.
Yeah, not quite, but almost,
nearly 7 hours of training in the Kona heat, and now they're sitting here chatting to us like it's just another day in the office.
But tomorrow is a rest day though, so then we have an easier day.
Yeah, photo shoot in the morning with a run and then a swim and a short bike. So.
Oh yeah, it's those 3 sessions on their rest day. Yeah.
Now going back to the tech side of things, obviously it's not just lactate you're using. We've seen you using these Moxie sensors, all sorts of things. How do you bring all of that together? Is there an overlap with that data?
Yeah, so far we've only been using our coach to really put all the numbers together.
So you're good at spreadsheets?
He's extremely good at spreadsheets. He loves Excel, but he made his life easier by creating an app called Enthalpy. And the word enthalpy, it's something...
The temperature is increasing in water by calories, or
yeah, it's like it's some calorie thing.
High-tech science humor.
But it's yeah, it's an app that can collect everything we're doing into a more user-friendly way. But so far, it's only for the few athletes. Yeah,
so not it's find it on the.
It's very limited so far.
Apple Store.
The plan is for it to come out.
Yeah, for sure. But now it's like an early beta, and we are testing it out and sorting out the bugs. Because if you've been in app programming, you know it's a lot of bugs to fix out. But the main part of the app is the algorithm behind it. That it's they've used a couple of years building, so it's a really heavy-duty algorithm. And yeah, it can collect all the data from the lactate that you have to put in manually because it's no lactate meter with a Bluetooth yet. And the VO2 master, the Moxie sensor, the core, and everything collected in one app, and they can really look at everything.
Because we saw you using the core sensors with the trim tech suits ahead of the Olympics, and I mean, yeah, you start to see that overlap and how it all works together. So yeah, really interesting. Anything really funky that you guys are doing? That I mean, I read something about
the pool,
feces. Yeah. Tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, that's something we haven't started doing yet.
Okay.
Because we need to find like a system how we can collect everything. But the idea there is again to get a better understanding of how much we can train. So it's not we don't just collect food just for fun of it.
No one does.
Even though it's really fun.
Yeah. But there it's to understand more like how efficient my body is in taking up the calories that I'm eating, because the more calories we can get on board, the bigger budget we have in training. And
have you checked whether Olav's okay in suggesting these things?
He's the one who's
he's really just
it's not like, oh, I'm telling him, can you please collect my...
But is this actually science, or is this just some kind of fetish thing?
No, this is hardcore science.
Yeah.
So we did a thing earlier with water also that was...
Is this the carbon-infused isotope?
Yeah, the isotope water.
Yeah.
So
$2,000 a bottle? Is that something?
Yeah,
right?
and we drank 4 of those each.
Wow.
Yeah, we do a lot of crazy things, but if you are a bit uncertain of how things work, you can be a bit overwhelmed by everything. But for me, I find it really motivating. And now we have a huge team around us from, so we started working with many different brands and technologies. So to systemize it a bit, we have created also a new company called Santara Tech that makes this a bit more manageable. So me and Kristian, we both have the same manager in Adam, and we have the same coach in Olav. And we 4 have this company now that can work a bit more easily together with the tech companies. So they can get the benefit of our knowledge and our testing regime. And we can get the benefits that they are helping us produce the technology that we need. So if we say to core, the temperature sensor, that we need this specific thing, they will go out of their way to make it for us. So we have a lot of fun prototypes waiting for us around the world, and always testing new stuff. So it's that's also an exciting part of being a professional triathlete.
Yeah, you're not just using new tech that's available. You guys are actually driving the innovation of new tech to see what's possible. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, is there anything you've done ahead of Kona that's interesting?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you allowed to tell us, or is that all we're going to get?
Depends on when this video will be published.
After Kona.
After Kona.
I believe. We can always cut it from the video.
Yeah, we'll see. So...
I mean, I think we could probably sit here all day asking you guys questions. It's absolutely fascinating. But yeah, thanks ever so much for joining us here today. Best of luck for the Ironman World Championships. We'll be rooting for you. If you guys have enjoyed today's video, please do give it a thumbs up, give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Yeah.
Seriously, do it now. I'm waiting here until you've done it. Seriously. Do it now.